Hey, yo mama is so fat. When she got on a scale, it said, I need your weight, not your phone number. Yo mama jokes. Whether to thoroughly crush your friends, a stranger, or even get caught in the crossfire yourself, a good your mama joke hits the spot. Today, we'll be taking a look at the fragmented history of your mom. Jokes. Anyways, in 1976, archaeologist J.J. Van Dyke found a 3,500-year-old tablet in current-day Iraq. This tablet would have put us in the early 15th century in Babylon, capital of the ancient Babylonian Empire. Unfortunately, the tablet itself is gone. No one knows for sure what happened to the tablet, but Van Dyke had documented its existence in writing. Because of the quote-unquote very careless writing, Van Dyke actually thought that this was written by a college student. Later on, researchers Michael Streck and Nathan Wasserman took interest in what Van Dyke had wrote and analyzed what it had to say in a paper for the journal Iraq. They found a handful of Akkadian riddles about politics, sex, beer, and of course, your mom. Let's take a look at this one. Of your mother is by the one who has intercourse with her. What or who is it? This just shows the true immortality of the sharp insult and joke that is your mom. I mean, Van Dyke, he considered this very careless writing. But to me, considering some of the variants of mom jokes that we have today, this fits right in with all of them. So I'm a fan of it. But let's move on to the next one. This next one is actually from the Old Testament, written in the early 11th century. I'm going to be simplifying the story of this, so if you want to get into the true detail of this story, I would recommend you go read the whole thing, because it's quite the ride. But, simply put it, after being threatened and landing here, this guy, sheltered in a cave, and he met someone that you may be familiar with. You may recognize them from various things, but their name is God. And he asked him, "What are you doing here?" Unable to give him a clear answer, God told him to go outside, and then kind of did a bunch of things around him. And then asked again, "What are you doing here?" Still unable to give a direct answer, God then told him, "Alright, well, go out and do these things." And he told him, "Make this guy the king of Aram, make this guy the king of Israel, and then before you come hang out with me, make this guy your replacement." So then he goes out, finds this guy, and he's like, "You're my replacement." And then off he goes. And then this guy hires another guy, who then anoints this guy from earlier, the new king of Israel. And then he goes out and he kills a lot of people, one of them being the king of Israel. They finally end up meeting, and it goes something like this. "Is it peace, Jehu?" "What peace? So long as the harlotries of your mother, Jezebel, and her witchcrafts are so many."
Ooh, sick burn.
And then he kills the king. So there's a lot of different interpretations of this depending on which translation of the Bible that you're reading, but the man insulted his mother and then killed him. It's a little harsh, but it ties in with what we're talking about today. Now let's jump to the late 15th century, during the age of the Renaissance, to this guy, Poggio Bracciolini, who had spent most of his career already working for the Pope, published a famous joke book in 1470 called the Facetiae. Apparently it was the first ever printed joke book as well, and in that joke book was this story. A young Florentine was going down to the river Arno with one of those nets in which they wash wool, and met a frolicsome boy, who, out of fun, asked him, "What birds are you going to catch with that net of yours?" "I am going to the brothel outlet," replied the youth, "to spread my net there, and catch your mother." "Mind you search the place carefully," retorted the boy, "for you will be sure to find yours there also."
Dang!
But it doesn't stop there, because next we move to the 16th century, and here we're gonna find the essence of your mom jokes written by none other than a your mom joke enthusiast, William Shakespeare, with 3 instances of jokes and insults that include your mom. Again, I'm gonna be oversimplifying every story here, so let's talk about the first one. In the tragedy, Titus Andronicus, this guy comes back from war with her sons, and her lover, and presents them to the Roman Empire. Now, this guy becomes the newest Roman emperor, and he decides to take her as his wife. Now, while these two are married, she has a baby, and the two sons are hanging out with their mom's previous ex-lover. When the nurse brings the baby around, let's just say they're able to figure it out. And so begins this conversation. "Villain, what hast thou done?" "That which thou canst not undo." "Thou hast undone our mother." "Villain, I have done thy mother." But soon after Titus came out, in 1606, with Thomas Middleton, Shakespeare wrote the play Timon of Athens, based off the real guy, who was a rich guy, and he gave his friends a lot of money so they can all hang out with him. But then once he ran out of money, they all left, and then he was real mad about that. But then he found some gold in a field, and then his friends were back, but then this time he just threw dirt at them, and they never came back after that. The play is vaguely based around that, right? But in that play, Timon, his sassy friend, and a painter are having a conversation within Timon's house, talking about whether Timon likes a painting or not. And this is how the conversation went. "How likest thou this picture, Epaminondas?" "The best for the innocents." "Wrought he not well that painted it?" "He wrought better that made the painter, and yet he's but a filthy piece of work." "Y'are a dog." "Thy mother's of my generation. What's she, if I be a dog?"
Wow, what do you say after that one? Brutal, savage, wrecked, absolutely taken down.
But there is one more before we move on. In the early 17th century, another tragedy by Shakespeare called King Lear was written and performed. This was a little more long-winded, so just bear with me. So this guy's king of Britain, and he is about to divide his kingdoms to his 3 daughters. These 2 daughters, they're just like, "Oh, I love you, Dad, so much. You're just like the best king that's ever happened." Just like overly flattering him, and that's how they earn their part of the kingdom. But then she is a little more honest, saying, "I love your majesty, according to my bond. No more, no less." And then he got pissed about that. So then he disowned her completely, and he gave her section of the kingdom to her sisters. This guy, Earl of Kent, is like, "Hey, I don't think that's very right that you did that." And then he gets banished. And then when the king goes to visit her in her kingdom, the servant he just banished shows up out of nowhere in a disguise, and he comes back to basically serve him again. And while they're there, his daughter doesn't really want him there, and she tells one of her servants, this guy,
Yes.
"Put on what wearing negligence you please," giving him full permission to be a total dick. And this guy starts noticing how the other servant is just blindly following orders given by the king's daughter, and is completely disgusted by him. And then he decides to trip him. And so later, the two confront each other, and this happens. "I love thee not." "Why? Then, I care not for thee. If I had thee in Lipsbury Pinfold, I would make thee care for me. Why dost thou use me thus? I know thee not. Fellow, I know thee. What dost thou know me for?" And then this guy proceeds to insult him for a whole paragraph, one of which he calls him the son and heir of a mongrel bitch. But after reading all this, I could certainly say that William Shakespeare did in fact enjoy the occasional your mom joke. But anyways, let's continue on and fast forward to the summer of 1828 during the US presidential election. Candidate Andrew Jackson facing off against the incumbent John Quincy Adams. Now during this time, there was a newspaper called the Cincinnati Gazette, and this guy had this to say about Andrew Jackson's mother. "General Jackson's mother was a common prostitute, brought to this country by the British soldiers. She afterward married a mulatto man, with whom she had several children, of which number General Jackson is one." So historians who actually studied this thought this dude was just throwing this haymaker because he felt the election was tipping in Jackson's favor. So it just kind of just seemed like a last resort kind of thing. But now, let's take a look at an early citation of a closely related adjective to a your mom insult. Motherfucking, in which this guy called this other guy that goddamn motherfucking bastardly son of a bitch. And they went to court for this. And I guess while studying this case, This historian says that apparently the term is quote-unquote unmatched in impact because this word is closely associated with this guy's teachings. And so just imagine two guys having a conversation that kind of goes like, traffic's a pain in the ass today. And can you believe it? I was trying to cross like 6 lanes of traffic and then this motherfucking... Who is that? But now let's jump to more modern times. Specifically the 20th and 21st century, where your mom jokes are a prominent tool in a game of spoken word called The Dozens. Originating from the African American community, this game would be something majority of people today would probably be most familiar with. The game has been studied by numerous researchers, such as in 1939, this Yale-based psychologist and social theorist basically examined the game and phrased it a pattern of interactive insult. Another researcher, member of the Department of Africana Studies at the University of Cincinnati, made a connection between the Nigerian game called This, and translated to English, it literally says, making disparaging remarks. Another professor and author suggested that the game could have originated from slave trade in New Orleans. Now, whatever the roots of the game may be, there are many different ways to play this game, but they all hold the possibility of including one common denominator. That's right, your mom. Your mom, so stupid, it takes her an hour to cook minute rice. Your mama's so ugly, people break into her house just to close the curtains. Your mama's so fat, her baby pictures were taken by a satellite. Your mama's so dumb, when she drove to Disneyland, she saw the sign that said, Disneyland left. So she went home. Your mama is so stupid, when your dad said it was chilly outside, she ran out the door with a spoon. Your mama's so fat, the restaurant in her town has a sign saying, occupancy of this room limited to 120 persons. Or yo mama.
So, was that an amusing joke? I've been working on my comedy skills.
But nearly half a century later, a show called Yo Mama aired on MTV from 2006 to 2007, featuring nothing but Yo Mama jokes.
Your mom is a dyslexic hooker. For $50, she'll sick your duck.
With every Your Mom joke you've seen and heard since you were a child, the first movie to contain a Your Mom joke was Monty Python and the Holy Grail, released on April 27th, 1975. Just to do a brief summary, on their quest to find the Holy Grail, King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table stumble upon a castle and proceed to be tricked and mocked by a French soldier in a string of insults, including his mom.
Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberries.
Since then, Your Mom jokes have expanded and unfolded into many variations used today. According to KnowYourMeme.com, the earliest documented variant of a Your Mom joke goes back to June 16th, 2016, in a video uploaded by YouTuber Pyrocynical titled Rush B CSGO, and the conversation went something like this.
One Russian counts as 5 people.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, why did you do that first then?
Because your mom gay.
Wow. Okay.
Then, on August 27th, 2017, a user on the site 4chan replied to a thread on the board bank saying, "Your mom gay," or "You are mom gay." Afterwards, on September 27th, the user added a full description on the site Urban Dictionary for the same expression. Come around October 8th, Instagram user Large Trap uploaded an edited cutscene from the video game Cuphead using a slightly modified version of the same phrase. Five days after that, on October 13th, a Reddit user posted on the subreddit r/meme economy with this edited screenshot from the movie Kung Fu Panda. As the sequence of events continue on, only 4 days later, on October 17th, a variation formed from the result of this conversation on the site Tumblr, saying, "Your mom sucked me good and hard through my jorts." Similar to many memes before it, this phrase was added to countless other jokes. Less than 2 months later, on December 2nd, a YouTuber uploaded this video that included the following.
Your mom gay.
Fast forward to February 18th, 2018, YouTuber PewDiePie reviewed the meme in his series Meme Review.
It's a solid meme that gets a
3.
I'll give it a
Sex.
It's a 6 now. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I will 100% read all of them. They better not say your mom gay.
And as more time went on, retorts to the phrase, "Your mom gay," began to emerge, such as the already more popular expression, "No you," as well as the direct response to "Your mom gay," "Your dad lesbian," used in the following context. Carl, your mom gay. Joe, your dad lesbian. Carl dies. Speaking of Joe, I actually called him before I started the video to see if he wanted to help me out with the rest of it. Oh, and that should be him right now. Wait, you don't happen to know Joe, do you? Oh, you've never met him before? Well, let me introduce you to Joe Momma. Joe Momma has been around for a long time, but no one really knows for how long exactly. An early appearance of the joke airs on an episode of the American TV show, The Golden Girls.
Now, are there any questions?
Yes, Mrs. Bornak. What does Joe have to say about all this?
Joe who?
Joe Mama!
And over a decade later, the phrase was added to Urban Dictionary. Then much later, at an unknown date, a picture of fan art of a Minecraft villager showed up on DeviantArt, only to be altered and posted on Instagram on February 25th, 2019 by user Noose Maniac. The picture appeared again on this subreddit, posted by the user The Four Leaf Clover. Since then, modified and transformed versions of Joe Momma have spread and float around the internet aimlessly. You can probably find Joe Momma in comment sections, the chat boxes of live streamers, forums, and the deepest parts of the internet to this day. And very briefly, I wanted to talk about one honorable mention before I end off the video. I couldn't find anything definitive, but I thought it was worth mentioning this very specific phrase that apparently is pretty popular within Britain and potentially may have Jamaican roots. I remembered this as soon as I started finishing the video, and the first time I heard this phrase was during the lead up to a YouTuber boxing match. And in the press conference before the fight, while exchanging insults back and forth, YouTuber Deji uttered the phrase,
Suck your mum!
All right,
Suck
clear
your
the
mum!
stage.
Suck your
We've got to
mum!
clear the stage
Suck
for the
your
next
mum!
fighters.
Suck your mum!
what a nice way to start a fight. But at the end of the day, we love our mothers. The bond we share with them is irreplaceable, regardless of where they may be. With that being said, from a means to agitate for battle in the past, to simply pass the time with our friends and have a laugh or two, your mom jokes are heard far and wide on planet Earth and, in my opinion, continue to be a quintessential experience to childhoods everywhere. Even if they weren't a part of your youth, it's not too late to start dissing your friends today. Just don't accidentally start a war because of it. Whew. The video is finally done. Just a big, fat round of applause for all the archaeologists, researchers, professors, students, whatever the hell. Y'all are the true heroes of the history of mom jokes. I bet you there's so many mom jokes still out there, waiting to be discovered. Jokes that have yet to be translated in the ground or like on a stone or something like that somewhere. So it doesn't start or stop at this video. It continues on till we can find who exactly Joe is. Nah, it's been fun. This video's been fun to make. And for the kids that are gonna be watching this video, don't be going making your friends cry and losing all your friends, alright? I don't wanna see any comments being like, after this video I told like 1 million mom jokes and then I lost all my friends, and it's all because of you. I'm telling you right here and right now, don't go roasting your friends to the point that they don't want to be friends with you anymore, okay? There's my disclaimer. Alright, have fun everybody. These things take fucking ever to make, so I'll see you when the next video comes out, whenever that will be. Have a great rest of your day.